and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video, we'd like to talk about end themes under the skin, focusing on a little breakdown and analysis of the lyrics and the music video to see what they can tell us about the concept and its connections to the upcoming storyline. Now, Under the Skin is a song that expresses the emotions of a person who doesn't fit into the world that surrounds them and is desperately looking for somebody to save them from their misery. In this touching debut, end theme tells the story of 9 wolves who fittingly manage to find each other through their powerful howling, and in doing so they are eventually able to create a pack where no one is left behind. Much like they anticipated in the trailer, there is no such a thing as a lone wolf, because in the pack everyone has a role to play and every member can find a place where they truly belong. In more ways than one, Under the Skin portrays the origin story of this wolf pack, but also the contrasting emotions that led them to reach out and find each other to begin with. In the lyrics, for instance, the song focuses on the loneliness and desperation of somebody who longs to be loved and understood, but it also expresses the courage it takes not to blend in just to pretend to be somebody that they are not. Under the Skin is a song that acknowledges the struggle of being different while also celebrating the strength it takes to be yourself and the joy you feel when you finally meet somebody that accepts you. To a certain extent, the song has the message that even if far away, there are people like you, so even if you might be lonely, that doesn't mean that you are alone. Now, this is also a concept that draws a lot of inspiration from the book Lone Wolf by Catherine Lasky, which, as it turns out, is also the book that Nicholas is reading in Under the Skin. Lone Wolf is the story of Howling, a wolf pup who is abandoned by his pack because of a splayed paw, who is eventually saved by a she-bear called Thunderheart. Thanks to the bear's love and nurture, the pup is not only able to grow into a strong wolf, but is also able to strengthen the very weakness that caused him to be abandoned in the first place, and in a sense, this concept is referenced in our story just as well. If you remember back in the trailer, for instance, Arua's character told us that even someone as weak as him has a role to play, and thanks to the pack he's able to become a better version of himself. Just like in the book, the support of Thunderheart helps Howling grow into a strong wolf, in end theme, the support of the pack allows each member to grow and thrive. In Under the Skin, we see that the pack comes together by reaching out with an howl. This howl is like a message that means I'm right here, so it's like a signal that they want to be found, because they essentially don't want to step out into this world by themselves. This is something that also takes place in the book, because Fowlan's first encounter with another wolf does take place in the form of an owl. In the book, Fowlan is alone for the first time because Thunderheart went into hibernation. He never spoke to another wolf before, but when he hears the howling for the first time, he immediately understands that it means I am here. The howling is a form of communication among wolves, so just like in the book, Fowlan is able to locate other wolves with it, and Tim can do the same just as well. Now, as you probably noticed while watching the MV, Under the Skin is also part of Dark Moon: The Grey City, which is the upcoming end theme storyline coming out in December 2022. As the title implies, the Grey City is set in the same Dark Moon universe as Knife the Blood Altar, with the main difference being that the Blood Altar obviously focuses on the vampires, while the Grey City will tell the story of the werewolves. As we see in a second, the video already draws some connections between the two, because it actually shows us the pack during their netball practice at the Sunshine City School. That is the same school attended by the wolves in the Knife story, and we can see that it's the same not only because of the name, but also because of a lot of details that they included in the background. If we take a look at the emblem, for instance, the wolf symbol is the same as the one that we saw in the past. It was on the uniforms worn by Kay and Iju back in Drunken Days, and it also showed up multiple times in the webtoon of the Blood Altar. The nightball uniform of the Sunshine City Wolves, moreover, is the same color as the one that we saw in the webtoon, not to mention that in the background we can also see that they won many championships like they told us back in the Blood Altar. All of this is to say that the Sunshine City School of the video is definitely the one that was already introduced in the other story. If you look closely, however, the video also introduces us to new locations, and this is because the Grey City will not be set in Riverfield, but rather in a completely different place. According to the information that we have so far, the Grey City will actually be a prequel to the Blood Altar, with the main plot taking place 20 years before the wolves settled in Riverfield. Set in the early 2000s, the Grey City will tell the story of how the pack came together as brothers. The main body of the narrative will be set in Greyville, which is a port city where everyone is indifferent and no one cares about each other. This is a location that possibly already appeared in Under the Skin, because in the opening scene we see a grey alley with the sea in the background, both of which fit the description of how Greyville should look like. Now, in this opening we meet Kay, which by now I'm pretty sure is supposed to be Khan. In the Blood Altar, Khan is the captain of the Sunshine Sunshine City Nightball team, as well as the alpha of the werewolf pack, but at this point we are not there just yet, because considering what we know so far, this is taking place at least a couple of decades before. In the scene, the alley is in disarray, and an injured Khan is crying over a man who is about to die. Back in the first trailer, the man told him that he shouldn't feel guilty, because it's only natural that a full-grown wolf looks after the pups. This conversation continues in the video itself, where the man says that no matter how afraid one is and how difficult it gets, when you have something to protect you have to be brave. Now this interaction is very interesting here, because even if at this point we don't have much context, we do have some clues that can help us understand what's going on. For one, the dying man is obviously somebody very precious to Khan, which makes me think that he could either be an older brother or maybe even the alpha of a pack that Khan used to be a part of. Considering the conversation, the older wolf might have been injured to save Khan's life, and looking at the mess that surrounds them, whatever happened must have been something big. Another interesting detail, moreover, is that the wolf tells Khan not to feel guilty, which is a line that might actually imply that he did do something in order to cause all that mess. So far we obviously don't know what happened, but in the Grey City concept film we do see Khan being attacked by somebody, and if you look closely his injuries kind of match the ones that we see in Under the Skin. In the film we see that this event takes place after the appearance of mysterious claw marks around town, and these signs were followed by the arrival of 3 strange individuals. These people are none other than Taki, Nicholas and Iju, and if my calculations are correct, then they should be Tile, Najak and Angie from the Blood Altar. Now to be honest, in the video the 3 wolves initially look a bit sketchy, so much so that it almost seems like they are the ones attacking Khan, but the way I see it, this might actually not be the case. If you look closely, the location where we see the 3 wolves looks very similar to the place where Khan is getting bullied in Under the Skin, and if this is the case, then maybe they will be the ones saving Khan from the people that want to hurt him. Whether this has something to do with the death of the other wolf is very difficult to say at this point, but depending on what is going on in town, I can definitely see that this new arrival might actually cause some tension. Either way, it seems that Khan was involved into something that might have caused the death of his loved one, and even if the wolf told him not to feel guilty, it's pretty obvious that he does. In Under the Skin, the memory of that event haunts him over and over again, to the point that he still has flashbacks about it while practicing at the Sunshine City school. Bear in mind that is at least 20 years later, so whatever happened is something that still makes him suffer. Before we get to present day, however, Under the Skin also gives us a general overview of the events that we'll see in the Grey City. As the years go by, for instance, we see that before getting to Riverfield, some of the boys actually attended another school with grey and green uniforms. On the jacket we can see an emblem shaped like a pentagon with a G inside of it, so for now my best guess is that this is the high school that they attended back in Greyville. During this period of time we see that Kay's character is struggling a lot in school because he's being bullied, branded as a freak, and considered as a monster because he is a werewolf. Despite of his pain, however, we see that his friends are by his side immediately, so even if at this point the pack is incomplete just yet, we can already see how important their bond actually is. By the looks of it, different members join the pack at different times. If we trust the concept film, for instance, then the characters played by Taki, Nicholas and Iju were already together by the time they got to Greyville. Then they helped Kay, befriended Yuma and Maki, and at some point Fuma, Joe and Arua's characters eventually follow through. Now considering how much the story is focusing on Arua, it seems that moving forward they will play an important role, which is also something that the trailer itself literally spelled out. Back in that video we saw that he was the last one joining the pack, but whether this will be the case or not in the story as well, they're definitely going out of their way to highlight his character just as much as they're doing with Kay. Back in the juvenile concept, for instance, every clip was dated June 19, 2003, but Arua's video kept glitching from 2003 to 2002 to 2005. This is interesting because in Under the Skin, he's the one recording the videos, just like in the trailer it was the lone wolf narrating his journey to find his pack. In the MV we can see that Arua's character has been videotaping for a long time. We can see tapes from the 90s, the early 2000s, all the way to 2020, so this could mean that the story will focus a lot on his journey to find his pack. Even if we still don't know why, the way Kay and Arua are presented on screen is very similar, and this could possibly mean that their stories moving forward might have a lot of things in common. In a way, this is also similar to what takes place in Lone Wolf, because in the book, when Thunderheart saves Fowlan, they both needed each other to overcome a trauma of their past. Thunderheart was suffering because she lost her cubs and wanted to die, while the little wolf was left to die but really wanted to live. When they found each other, their bond allowed the both of them to push forward and survive together, so maybe both Kay and Arua's characters will need each other and the pack in order to overcome the shadows of their past. As I mentioned earlier, whatever happened in Greyville followed Khan until present day, but thanks to the pack he's able to push through and overcome his guilt. In a very important scene, for instance, we see that when Khan is remembering the past, Yuma's character notices what's going on and immediately calls him to get his attention. Since they became brothers from the same pack, they all support each other when they are in pain, and this is a concept that is also reinforced with yet another detail. If you look closely, for instance, we see that the motto of the Sunshine City School is actually Sol Lucet Omnibus. This is a Latin phrase that literally means the sun shines for everyone, but as a matter of fact, this sentence has a much deeper meaning. You see, in ancient times, that was a saying that meant that everybody is equal under the sun. We all have the right to our own ray of sunshine, and no injustice or greed can take the light away from us. In the video, however, we see that loneliness and pain did take the light away, to the point that when he was suffering, Kay was actually surrounded by a black void. When the darkness surrounded him, however, it was the pack itself that became that light, and the same thing happened to Arua's character just as well. Even if the sun is for everyone, it's not always day, and fittingly enough, the night is darkest when there is a dark moon. When darkness takes over, it's the bond of the pack that brightens the way, and in a sense this wolf bond is symbolized by the full moon, which incidentally also shines because it reflects the light of the sun. In the pool scene, for instance, we see that when Joe is in the water by himself, Kay chooses that light. He takes a leap of faith to follow the moonlight and dives into the water to reach out. In a sense, that's him following the Howling and stepping out to find people like him. Embracing the moonlight also means embracing the pack, thus saving Joe and himself in the process. By the end, we see that every member of the pack takes the same leap of faith. They all jump into the water and they all open their eyes into the darkness to find each other. As the older wolf told Kay at the beginning, when you have something to protect, you have to be brave. You cannot be scared because wolves need one another to survive. So at the end, we see Kay and Joe holding each other's hands to show that the pack will always be there for one another. Even if N-Team's debut album is called The First Howling Me, that first howling is meant for that me to become a we. It's meant for them to find a pack to always rely on, and by the end it seems that they actually succeeded. To see how the story will unfold from this moment on, we'll have to wait and see, but in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please think about liking and subscribing. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.